Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. We have a lot to be proud of in this country, but most of all, we should be proud and thankful for our men and women in the U.S. Armed Forces, especially those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Classic shows like Combat and 12 O'Clock High showcase the deep drama of wartime. Others, like the ones on this list, successfully intermixed the element of humor. And these are my top 5 favorites. At number 5, it was Gomer, Pyle, U.S.M.C., starring Jim Nabors and Frank Sutton as Sergeant Carter. Frank was a real U.S. Army veteran who saw action in World War II by taking part in 14 different landings in the Pacific Theater. Number 4 is The Phil Silvers Show. Phil had entertained the troops alongside his friend Frank Sinatra in multiple USO tours. My number 3 was McHale's Navy. Ernest Borgnine served 10 years in the Navy and during World War II earned multiple service medals, ironically hunting submarines in the Atlantic. Number 2 was Hogan's Heroes. The fictitious German soldiers played by Werner Klemperer, John Banner, Leon Askin, and Howard Kane actually all served in the U.S. Armed Forces. But my number 1 had to be MASH. This iconic show perfectly combined the horrors of war with ingenious comedy and one of the finest television casts ever assembled. So there you have my top 5 favorite military comedies. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Did you know that Robert Conrad almost got the role of Anthony Nelson on I Dream of Jeannie? But fortunately for us, he got the part of James West on The Wild Wild West. And they were also considering The Wild West West. I wonder if they thought of how the West was wild. Well, eventually they settled with The Wild Wild West, and the sci-fi western was off and running. And the successful show ran from 1965 to 1969. But of course, because it was successful, they had to do a big screen remake. This movie, starring Will Smith and Kevin Kline, was trashed by the critics. Will Smith is on record for regretting it, but Robert Conrad protested the making of the film from the beginning. Of course, the movie went on to win 5 Razzie Awards, which of course are given out to the worst films of the year. And just to drive his point home, Robert Conrad attended the Razzies and accepted the awards. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. In the early 70s, a unique action adventure hit the airwaves called Kung Fu, which blended the classic television western drama with martial arts action. The show ran on NBC from 1972 to 75 for 63 episodes. According to creator Ed Spielman, after passing on Bruce Lee for the lead role, which is a whole nother episode, actor David Carradine was suggested. Although reluctant about his difficult reputation, as soon as they heard him read for the role, they knew they had their man. But one small problem was that Carradine had absolutely 0 martial arts skills. Fortunately, he had been trained in the art of dance, which came in handy, or should I say, footy, during his initial interview. According to the star, he used his best Gene Kelly move to leave his bare footprint above the door of the casting office on his way out. Carradine later humorously speculated that it impressed them because they never cleaned the footprint off during the entire run of the show. With his keen agility and the help of martial arts advisors David Chow and Cam Ewan, as well as some slow-motion editing, Carradine was able to portray a kung fu master. Rounding out the cast with Key Luke as Master Po, Philip Ahn as Master Khan, and utilizing the actual teachings of the Tao Te Ching, this classic TV show wasn't just entertaining, but was quite possibly a source of enlightenment. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans! Did you know that the playwright, director, and TV producer Ivan Tors left a huge legacy on classic TV? Most often his shows included animals and/or some sort of undersea adventure like his series Sea Hunt. And it was during the filming of Sea Hunt where he befriended one of the acting divers. His name happened to be Rico Browning, and Rico was the original creature from the Black Lagoon. Well, the story goes, Rico was watching Lassie with his kids on TV one day when he imagined Lassie as a dolphin. He worked the idea up, took it to Ivan Tors, and the legacy of Flipper was born. Flipper actually started as a feature film starring Chuck Connors. They then successfully crossed over to TV from 1964 to 1967. But Ivan Tors also brought us beloved shows like Gentle Ben, Doc Tari, Cowboy in Africa, also starring Chuck Connors. So all in all, the famed producer and studio owner and his colleagues made a huge contribution to family entertainment. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Did you know that Gilligan's Island got killed off in a cloud of gunsmoke? As in Gunsmoke, the popular Western TV show. This was a perfect example of how important a day and time slot is to a TV show. In 1967, the highly successful Gunsmoke was in danger of being canceled. It had fallen out of the top 30 while in its longtime Saturday night time slot. Well, the castaways didn't stand much of a chance once CBS's president William Pyle, who was a Gunsmoke fan, decided to move the show into Gilligan's Monday night spot. They never even let him get rescued, although I bet Marshall Dillon could have fixed the boat. Well, this shuffle worked perfectly for Gunsmoke as it rose all the way back up to number 4 in the ratings. And of course, this just drives home the point of how important a day and a time slot is for a TV show. And fortunately for us, Gilligan's Island and Gunsmoke both survive to this day in reruns.